J'ai rien du tout.
This time. Okay, it's okay. Thank you. Dola Benji Sanji Doba Sho Sanji Chudan Soji Jo Sanji Badu Dani Shaksuji Dagi Soji Besa Dola Benji Sanji Doba Sho Senje Dan Dewa Dan Di Chudan Denpa Chi Dewa Dan Dunga Ji Chudan Chor Deva Mepi Deva Dhamma Mela Jiji Iricha Yuda Jave Danyam Jembo Deva Juji Paden Sare Lama Rimbo Yagi Jiva Peme Neyu Kare Jembo Guni Jison Kusun Tuji Mudu Sadhu So So, do you have questions?
Is it on? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I was wondering if you could say something about Pratyeka Buddhas, what they are, and maybe what kind of relationship they have to modern times, to our existence here.
Well, generally, Buddha talked about three types of people, and the three types of people who also can find some realization in their own different ways, So this is
No, both.
No both. Then come here. Now? Okay.
Little bit.
So, is this working?
Yeah.
So, the first type of people are Sharvakayana type of people. And that is like those who wants to follow the group. who wants to work in a group and needs to find a teacher or a guide or an example, and then need to have some kind of a social context, social influence, and then kind of a follower type, yeah. And this type of people needs sangha. Sangha becomes very important, and you need a teacher as an example. That's very important. So when you this type of people are a little bit discipline is necessary and things like that. So Buddha taught that what they need, and there the Vinaya and all these things are taught, and they can become arhats. They can at different levels and things like that. But Sangha is very important for them. Then he talked about the Pratika Buddha type of people. Pratika Buddha type of people is type of people who are very intelligent, but a little bit proud, and do not want to follow anybody, and therefore do not want to, it's very difficult for them to have a teacher, and they are not very good in the community. So they normally would not go with the Sangha. They would be alone. And they try to find their way by themselves. He said like that, Buddha. So some of these people can also find their own way, find truth, find Dharma, then practice themselves and become arhats and things like that. But they are very solitary type of people. They don't teach. So therefore, they don't have a kind of a lineage, because they don't want to have lots of students and things like that. So sometimes you only know that they have been kind of highly realized people only when they die, because then they die in a kind of a miraculous way. So this type of people are also there. And this type of people, because they learn by themselves, so this kind of people and this kind of arhats can happen even when there is no Buddha, there is no Dharma, there is no Sangha, So this is the Pratika Buddha type of people, yeah? And then there is Bodhisattva type of people. Bodhisattva type of people are naturally very compassionate people. They're very concerned about other people. They're always, thinking about how to help other people or how to bring the benefit to all the other people. And so therefore they are more altruistic kind of people, compassionate type of people. And so they are not content with just finding path or finding liberation for themselves. And they have to work for the benefit of others. So they are, they become bodhisattvas, and then they are not content with becoming arhat. They want to become bodhisattva, and they want to become Buddha, because they want to help all the people, everybody. So for them, the Buddha taught Bodhisattva's kind of teachings. So these three type of people are there. Yeah. So for these three type of people, then Buddha, gave teachings. Nothing much for the Arhat people because there's nothing, practical Buddha type because they don't really need. That's the idea. That's information. I don't know. There must be. There can be practical Buddha type of people even now. But you can't say who is there or where is there. But I'm sure there are lots of people who are very, what can you say, who try to find, try to think, and try to, by themselves. So there must be those there also.
Hello. Yesterday, E. Irwin and you asked about the different titles of our Path of Heroes book. And I just wanted to add a thought from the publisher's perspective. A publisher wants to sell books. The title has to be Remember, and it should be possible to protect the title by copyright. And this is only possible with Path of Heroes, for example, and not by the honeypot original title. That's one aspect. Another aspect is very popular. Maybe some of you heard about the popularity of Pooh the Bear on TikTok.
What?
Pooh the Bear. It's a tale about a bear which is extremely keen on honey.
Oh, yeah. What is Pooh the Bear? Yeah.
Pooh the Bear, yes. And maybe especially the Taiwanese guys who made the Chinese title were extremely intelligent to took something which has not to do something with honey, with the affinity to bears, because everything like that wouldn't go through the Chinese firewall.
Yes. I think Path of Heroes is a good title. It's easy to remember, and the Bodhisattva is a little bit like a hero, a little bit like a knight, who fights for the benefit of other people, all other people. And so Path of Heroes, and path for that, it's a relevant. I liked it. I like the title very much. It's not exact the translation, but maybe translation is also there in the subtitles. It must be there somewhere. I haven't seen the English translation actually, but yeah. And then the Chinese translation is more, is also, that's more kind of bodhisattva, because Chinese know bodhisattva. They have the concept. The concept bodhisattva is very, very, what can you say? Very popular in the Chinese society, but not in the Western society. If you're a bodhisattva, they would even not be able to read it correctly. So yeah, Path of Heroes. That's I think that's fine. Yes.
Take microphone, please, because otherwise.
People wouldn't hear you on the internet.
Rinpoche, please, could you say something about purification practices?
Purification practices. You know, it is said by the Buddha that the most strongest purification practice is to see the true nature, see the truth, yeah, how things really are, how you really are, to understand the ultimate nature of things, yourself, everything. That is regarded as the highest purification. Yeah. If you understand, like there's a story that there was this Ajatashatru. He was a king during Buddha's time, and actually he was a son of a very, very good king who was a friend of the Buddha when he was a prince. When Buddha was going down from his country to this to the Magadha where the Buddha Gaya is, then he saw Buddha walking on the streets, as a monk, and then he knew that there was some, he didn't recognize him that time, but he saw that it was somebody very, very special. He looked very special. So he asked him to come, and he came, and then he said, "You look so, so special. Why you are wandering here like this, begging food, on the street? Who are you?" Then he said he was from, and then he knew about. Then he said, "Then you stay here. You rule the country with me. I share my kingdom with you. You become, my partner in." But Buddha said, "No, I'm not for that. I want to search for a, enlightenment. So I go." So he said, "Okay, then you go, but you must promise that when you find the truth, you must share it with me." So therefore, after Buddha became enlightened, he came and he met him, and he became a very good student of Buddha. Later on, he became even a monk, and he became an arhat. But his son was called Ajatashatru. I don't know why he was called Ajatashatru, but Ajatashatru means enemy even before you are born. Yeah, Ajata means before you are born. Before born, Shatru means enemy. So he became, enemy to Buddha, but enemy also to his father. So, he imprisoned his father and then kind of killed him, So he did lots of bad things like that because he was misguided by, this Devadatta. And when he was and kind of more to the end, he was very, very, he understood what a terrible thing he did. That he killed his own father, who was not only his father and was very, very kind to him, but he was also a great, like Arhat and things like that. And then all other things that he had done, so many bad things. So he felt very bad. So he sent message to Buddha, please, come and help me, because I'm so totally devastated, and I'm totally depressed, and very, very, very strongly, kind of in a very bad state of mind. So Buddha didn't go, but he sent Manjushri, and then Manjushri came there, and then they were talking, and then Ajatasattu said, "Oh, I have done so many bad things, and so negative things that I will go. As soon as I die, I will go to the helldom." And he said, "Yes, you are right. You will go to the helldom, but not just helldom. You are going to the worst kind of helldom, and never get out of there." And so the more they talked, he was not trying to console him, but make it even worse. So like this, then he became, even more anxious and more depressed and more, So, and they became worse and worse and worse. And then at the end, he was about to kind of, what can you say, go mad. And then at that moment, then he said, "You are going to, you are going to hell. You are going to suffer. You are going to." All kind of things. But he said, "Who is it that in you? What is it in you that will go there?" And when he was asked that question, suddenly he had a kind of a surprise and shocked, and tried to say, "Who in me? What in me is going to hell?" And by that, he kind of understood that there's nothing in me that actually can go to the hell, And somehow he understood the emptiness nature of himself. And then he became so peaceful, because he knew that there's really nothing that could actually. And immediately all his negativity, kind of went away. He became very calm and clear and things like that. And that was the most strongest purification for him. So, therefore, the understanding the nature of, true nature of, the phenomena is regarded as the highest way of purification. The second most important and strongest purification is compassion. When you really, truly, is compassionate and thinking about how to benefit others, and so strongly that you are kind of ready to exchange your own, pleasure and good life or good things with others suffering and pain and problems. If we have that truly very compassionate state of mind, then there is nowhere that negativity can stay. So that is the next strongest purification. Yeah? Then the next purification is that we try to practice anything with 4 powers. That is that, I see very clearly the actions of your body, of your speech, and especially of your mind and emotions that would cause, pain and problem and suffering and harm to yourself and others. And so that that's a negative deed. And then that you must have accumulated a lot of those things now, in the past, in many lifetimes. So therefore, you want to purify them. You want to let them go. And then when you see this very clearly, then you regret, you feel, very strongly that you don't want to have these things. You want to, purify them. When that happens, that strong happens, then you want to do something. So you try to do something positive to counteract those negative actions that you might have done or you are doing, and you feel regretful of all those actions that you have done before, and then you do something to, some positive things, whether it's some meditation, whether it's some actions of your body, actions of your speech or mind or whatever, or whether it's kind of refuge or, practice of, say, like Vajrasattva or whatever you do. And then fourthly, you make a kind of a promise or decision that you will not do those negative things in future again. So if you kind of do these 4 things, then also it's a purification. So these are the 3 different levels of purification, and of course, ideally we have to do all 3. Say like in the Ringu and things like that. We have this, like Vajrasattva and any other, whatever positive thing we do, that becomes also a purification. And whatever, when we realize, whether it's something that we, emotion, negative emotion or something like that, or reaction, or, we do something with your action or with your speech, something that is harming and that is, good, not good for yourself and others, then you realize that this is not good, this is negative. So therefore, you want to change that. You want to do something to, to change that, or to, what can you say, to let go of that, or to transform that. That's all purification. Yeah. So we can do that, but at the same time, also generate compassion, like like in this kind of Lojong things, all 3 are done. All 3 are done. Like for instance, in the beginning, in this like there is like 2 bodhicittas we talk about. Ultimate bodhicitta and relative bodhicitta. Ultimate bodhicitta is to see the ultimate truth. nature of things, like what you are, how things are, how life is, you know. So when you have some understanding or some experience of that, then, you know, your kind of self-centeredness, selfishness, you know, too much kind of ego, you know, too much me, becomes less. And that is helping to generate more compassion. So, you know, I am, you know, if you really see that, you know, here it says that try to see it, everything a little bit like a dream, you know, things like that. So that means that, you know, everything changes, everything is permanent, impermanent, you know. So therefore, and if you look at yourself, what exactly you are, you know, your body is just a bag of cells and
microbes.
Yeah, those kind of things which you don't want to even touch. And then where is, you know, what are you actually? Yeah. So your body is 5 elements, 4 elements, whatever you call it. What you call is the mind that makes you what you are or that you think is. But what is this mind? You know, mind is, you can't find it, nobody can see the mind, yeah? So it's like, it's a kind of strange thing. Yeah? You can't say it's not there, but you can't find it also, yeah? That's why they say that it's Mashi Manganam Kingon. It's unborn and it's unceasing. It has the nature of the space. So, in a space, you can't see space is there, you can't see space is not there. Mind is also like that. So therefore, we just hold on to this is me, but where is me? Yeah. All your experience is not me. You divide that into others and me, and so you know its nature is very interdependent, emptiness, things like that. So the more you understand that, the more your ego should be less and more, you know, egocentric, you know, me should be less. And then when that becomes more, then you should be more compassionate because, you know, it's not I and others, you know, I want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. It's all kind of holding on to a self-centeredness, yeah, ego. So when that is not or less, then there's no other way but being compassionate, yeah. So that's when the more we understand this, then the more we are purified. Yeah. So therefore, the practice here is to try to understand that and practice that, and then practice the compassion at the same time. First, to try to see equalness, you know, like I am what I am and what everybody is very same, very similar, you know. As I want happiness, everybody wants happiness. As I don't want unhappiness and problems and sufferings and pain, everybody wants that. Yeah? So therefore, you know, and as I am a little bit like a dream, everybody is also a little bit like a dream. Yeah? And as I love my loved ones, everybody loves their loved ones. Yeah? And as they hate something that's not nice, everybody does that. So therefore, you know, we are very same. So I want everybody to be kind to me and nice to me. So everybody wants that. Everybody wants everybody to be kind and nice to themselves. And then we know that if all of us are kind and nice to each other, there's no problem on the earth. Yeah, we can have we can have heaven on earth tomorrow if we change this way of saying today. Yeah. So therefore, there's no reason why we should not treat everybody equally to ourselves and to our loved ones. And this then it leads me to, then you understand more and more that, why you should not, treat people in a bad way, why you should not have negative thoughts and emotions to anybody. Because if you have negative thoughts and emotions to anybody, that would actually hurt you, because that will make you very negative. And when you become negative, you have the suffering of negativity. If I am upset, if I am hateful, then that burns me more than the other person. So therefore, when I see that my negative emotions and my negative state of mind is the most harmful to myself, when I understand that, then I have to be very careful that I don't hold on to those negative emotions. And when you don't hold on to your negative emotions in the self, then you are compassionate. And of course, you will also find people not always kind and nice. It's not that if I am a little bit kind, you can't assume, you can't expect that everybody will be kind and nice and all good. Because if you expect that will not happen. Because it's not like that. Because people have lots of negativity, people have lots of, anguish, lots of, stress, lots of all kind of problems, so therefore, you can't expect them to be like that. But if you see a little bit deeply, then when they act in a negative way, and if you can still be kind and compassionate, that's a very good practice. Actually, sometimes it's like, when people are not nice to you, it's said here in the teachings that you have to be very happy, grateful. Because it's like, yes, now they gave me the biggest opportunity to practice the best thing which is good for me. Yeah, my compassion, my tolerance, forgiveness, my tolerance. And that would be the best way of purifying myself. So therefore, I should be more grateful to them when they are upset and angry and harmful to me than angry and, things like that. If you can see like that, then whatever people do, whatever negatives happens, it becomes something positive for you. Yeah, and that is the training. The mind training is this kind, to try to learn in a deep way that even if people are nice and kind, you are very grateful, you are very thankful, you are happy, and you can be positive. Even people are very negative and unkind and things like that, still you can be grateful and you can be use that as wonderful kind of a method of your own purification. When you have that, then you have bodhicitta. And then whatever happens, you are just purifying and improving and generating more positive karma. And also, nothing can, nothing can actually, what can you say? Nothing can harm you actually. It's like the best protection for yourself. Yeah. So that's why this the practice is the kind of meditation of Tonglen. Trying to take on all the negative things of others and give away all the positive things to everybody. Yeah. So that you become more, even if you receive something negative, you don't become upset or afraid or unhappy because you want it. If you want something, then if you get it, you should be very happy, no? So in this meditation, you are trying to want every negative things from everybody and give away all the positive things to others. So even if your positive things are taken, you will be happy because that's what you are trying to practice. And if you have some negative things, you are still happy because that's what you want to get. Yeah, it's a little bit the story I always tell. This, once the Zen monk who was given the training to, to pay to insult yourself. You know the story? Yeah. So this Zen monk wanted to get the hardest training, and he was very enthusiastic, and he asked his teacher to train him the most strong way. And then his teacher said, okay, but you have to pay for it. So he said, okay, I'll be happy. So he said, now you have to get someone to insult you for 2 hours every day, and you have to pay by hour. So he was doing that for several months, and then one time he had to go somewhere in a town for some other work, and he went there, and there was a crazy person who actually was like that. He was always saying bad things, and so he started to abuse him and say bad things. And usually everybody got very upset with that, and they came and sometimes they beat him up and they threw stones at him and things like that. But this man, because he was paying for this, so he got very happy. He went and hugged him. So thank you so much, because he was getting it free. So if you are getting something that you usually have to pay, then you will be happy, So that's the power of training. Yeah? So this is the kind of training. Yeah, this is the online training. So that's purification.
Maybe I have a short question. Purification is one thing, but in teachings it says also that we need to accumulate merit in order to be able to...
Actually, the accumulation and purification are actually more or less same. Generally, to let go or to reduce the negativity is called purification. and increase the positive actions and positive, state of being is called accumulation. But actually, both does the same thing.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a question. Maybe you could show us or give some examples of easy accumulating merit in daily life that we could sort of, easy or maybe not easy. But
yeah, I mean the merit, of course, if you understand the nature of the ultimate nature of the way things are and truth, that's highest way of accumulation. If you have lots of compassion and kindness, that's highest way of accumulation. Then whatever good you do, like if you take some kind of precepts, and then keep that, that's also accumulation and merit. If you the 6 parameters, like if you give or help others, that's accumulation of merit. If you abide by if you discipline yourself and stop doing negative things, that's accumulation. If you are patient or being tolerant and things like that, that's accumulation of merit. If you work hard and become more joyful in doing positive things, that's accumulation of merit. If you meditate and make your mind calm and clear, and that's accumulation of merit. And then wisdom, we already talked about it. So all these are accumulation of merit. But in in Monroe, we have this. It's not that only that. Everything else is also accumulation of merit. But we have this mandala offering. That's a kind of. It's supposed to be skillful means that we imagine that all the all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, all enlightened beings of all through the space is kind of in front of you or there, and then you hold this mandala plate, and then see that as like the whole universe, and then everything nice, wonderful, positive, good, beautiful, nice, and what you desire, all there in kind of how you call it? Immeasurable way. And then you kind of offer that to everybody continuously and things like that. And you feel that everybody gets that. And so that's the mandala offering. The words that you say is a little bit, it's composed by a Tibetan Lama. It's not even coming from India. So it doesn't matter. You can, you can just kind of bypass it. But, it's nice, like a wish-fulfilling cow.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I would be happy to have a wish-fulfilling cow, I think. You can, whatever you want, you can get it from a wish-fulfilling tree, the tree. I think it's even better wish-fulfilling tree because in a cow you have to give her grass, but wish-fulfilling tree is, there is a tree growing, and if you want something, just a small piece of ice cream. Hot chocolate. things like that. Yeah. So, but you can imagine anything. Yeah. And actually, basically, it's a little bit like, whatever you see that's wonderful and beautiful and nice, instead of usually how I wish I had it, I wish I could have it. Instead of that, I said this wonderful thing. Oh, I make it offering to everybody, and not only this one, but countless of that, and not only this, but it's like 1,000 million times more beautiful and more precious than this. I make offerings to everyone. So when I can say that, then I have no kind of attachment. No, so it's basically kind of purification and accumulation is to free yourself from aversion and attachment. Yeah, I want this. I don't want this. Kind of you. When you have no aversion and attachment, then you are purified, and you have accumulated. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
Somebody give her a microphone, please. So I don't need to like round and round.
It was concerning what you said about the mind and the mind training, what we are trying so hard to train our mind. I wanted to know what happens when we die with the mind. Is it still there? And what is the difference between in Buddhism, the mind and the Atman? These two things, in which way when a person dies and what happens to these?
The mind is, just the thing that you think, yeah, you feel, you know, you sense, that consciousness that we all have. That's mind, yeah. That's mind. The thing that you think, you feel, you know, that's mind. Atma is a philosophical thing. That when it's Atma, then they say that there is something called Atma in you. That, when you die, it goes out of your body and then takes another life and things like that. So it's a kind of philosophical. What can you say? It's a concept. Yeah. Now, from Buddhist point of view, Buddhists and Hindus have a long time been debating about the nature of the mind. Hindus say there's an Atma, and then there's also a Paramatma, and there's of course, Hindu is many different philosophies, but most of them, kind of main, said that there's Atma, that each one of us has an Atma, but there is a Paramatma. It's a very, kind of big Atma. So when your Atma merges with the Paramatma, then you become liberated. And that's the Hindu way of understanding. Buddhists say that that's not the good way of saying, because if you say you have Atma, then you will become kind of egoistic, because it's my Atma, I have my Atma. So that just way of understanding. So therefore, you can't. It's not good idea to say you have Atma, because you have consciousness, but that consciousness is also, is not something existing on its own. It's interdependent. It's emptiness in its nature. It has. You can't say it's there. You can't say it's not there. It's the nature of this space. It's unborn and unceasing. So therefore, you can't say there is one Atma I have. It's philosophically you can debate on it, and they have been debating for thousands of years. Yes, and a great master maybe comes to the same conclusion, but that's another story.
But you're talking about the mind, mind training. I have a saying of the Buddha in a frame, in a card, which someone gave to me a long, long time ago. And it said, it's your mind that creates the world. Is it in this connection also same meaning? Or does it mean something completely different?
No, it means the same. I mean, like, how I experience, can I experience anything without my mind? That's it. Yeah. If I see also, there has to be my consciousness, because my eyes only cannot see. If I hear also, I have to have consciousness, otherwise I cannot hear. So therefore, if I say this is like this, that's also my mind. And then how my mind is, or what state of my mind is, kind of creates the state of my being. Like if I am in a bad mood, I see everything a little bit, dull and, not so nice. If I'm in a very positive state of mind, everything is bright and shining and beautiful, So therefore, the way my mind is, it's not that my mind is like making, or, like, it's not like a God. We can, you say, there'll be man and there is man, and there'll be woman and there is woman. Not necessarily like that, but my mind is, everything that I experience has to happen with my mind. So if I'm happy also, it's my mind. If I'm unhappy, if I'm upset also, it's my mind. If I'm, so this, and so therefore, mind training is very important, because if I can train my mind like we talked about, then even if something bad happens, I'm happy because I am grateful and I can see this is something good for me. So this is like that.
I was wondering if you could say something on compassion, or if there's such a thing as idiot compassion or too much compassion or something like that.
I think there is nothing called idiot compassion, but there are idiots. I mean, you can be very, you can unskillfully treat people, maybe with good intention, but not skillfully. Yeah, that's possible, isn't it? And somebody said that the road to the hell is paved with good intentions.
That was
This-
my mother.
Huh?
That was my mother always telling that.
This I understand it in another way. I think it's not to say that because you have good intention, so you go to hell. I think it's like those people who say, I'm doing it with good intention, not always have good intention, So, because everybody says, I'm doing it for the benefit of everybody. Those who have killed millions of people also said, I'm doing it for the benefit of people. Yeah? But did they really think it is good for the all? I'm 100% sure they didn't. But they did it. Yeah? So therefore, everybody says, I do it for the good of, otherwise people will not support them. Yeah? So everybody who says, I'm the most compassionate one, or maybe they don't say compassionate, but I'm doing for the benefit of everybody, then you don't need to trust too much. you must see what they do, not just what they say. Yeah, I think it's that. Lots of people think that too much compassion is not good because you don't look after yourself. Lots of people think like, oh, I'm not looking after myself enough, so I was only too much compassionate. I think that's actually, I don't see so much positive thing in that, because of course, if you are compassionate, you don't need to, completely, what can you say, harm yourself, no? You can help, but you don't need to, what can you say? You don't need to exhaust yourself. You don't need to, what can you say? You don't need to feel that you are compelled to do something to help everybody. That's not necessary. Compassion is, wishing well, thinking about the goodness of others, and really wanting joyfully, deeply wanting to do something to help other beings. That's the one. So if you are really deeply, wanting to help and concerned about the others, then it's for you in a way. It's not just for others, it's for you. So therefore, sometimes I don't do this because I've been too compassionate. And then I sometimes feel that, what would you do to look after yourself? Watching TV all day? It is not very good for you. Yeah? You just rest. Of course, you need rest. That's another thing. Everybody needs rest. Everybody needs to. But, if you do something that is really helping somebody, you feel your life much more rich and meaningful and purposeful. No? if you feel that I'm doing something, but it doesn't really do much good to anybody, you don't feel good, no? Lots of people have this, what to call it? There's a word for that. There's a word for it.
Philanthropy?
No.
It's like guilt, you mean? Guilt? They feel guilty that they don't help?
No. They don't feel that they are doing something worthwhile.
Job satisfaction.
Job satisfaction. Lots of people have no job satisfaction. Less jobs. Why? Because they feel and they know that what I'm doing is not really that useful to people. I'm getting a salary and I'm, spending my time. That's okay, but is it really helping somebody? Is it really worth, doing? And so if it is not, I feel then I'm not feeling that good. But if I feel that what I'm doing is really helping some people and really changing somebody's life, then you feel very, you feel proud of yourself. You feel that you are doing something worthwhile and useful and meaningful. And when you're feeling that, you don't feel kind of worthless, or you don't feel like too much, you feel, of course, tired sometimes, but that you sleep overnight and next morning you are not tired anymore. But if you find that what you are doing is not really much use, then your tiredness is much stronger. So therefore, it's a little bit like that, I think.
Always have questions. So I don't always have questions.
Okay.
Maybe I'll. Inka. Yeah. No, she doesn't. I was just wondering, in this context that you were talking about, how do we train ourselves with 6 paramitas, and is the first paramita of generosity is maybe this is because the first paramita that we train ourselves in generosity, that gives us opportunity to develop our compassion as well.
Actually, the compassion is the base, no? Is the base, because it's all, based on wanting to do something that's good for yourself and good for others, no? That's useful and beneficial to yourself now and in the long run. And that's useful and helpful and good to others also now and in the long run. That's the basis, no? So the generosity is the real first step, that you actually do something, no? Or you intend to do something. Or you have a, you want to help. Generosity is basically wanting to help, no? So whether you want to help with something kind of materially, if somebody is, hungry, then give some food, or thirsty, then give some drink, or, it's cold, or, then give some clothes, or, whatever, if they feel hurt, then try to, give some kindness, some, some support, some of any different kind, even a little bit of a nice word or something, sometimes, is very helpful to the people, no? So that's, giving material support, giving, sometimes we call it protection, like, and then giving guidance also, and teaching and all these kind of things. So these are, giving, and the giving with not, expecting some return, but just, with the intention of really helping that person. So that's generosity, the generosity.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes?
Can you hear me?
No, wait a minute. I'll give it a minute. Because we don't have to close anything, right? But I have it close enough.
I wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you how.
You suddenly became like an old lady. What's this?
How commitment and precepts, if they have an effect on the karmic effect of some wrongdoings, if they become stronger. I know that you talked about that before, that if for karmic to ripen fully, one needs to plan it, do it, and not regret it. But I wanted to know how the factor of knowledge and commitments and precepts, if that also has like a stronger karmic effect, if some does a failure or wrongdoing, if one has precepts or not. Because like if one reads all the 37 steps of the Bodhisattva, one can get overwhelmed by it and might think about maybe it's better to refrain of the commitment, but you can't give back knowledge. So I would love you to talk a bit about that. If that can become even worse, like if one doesn't fail it, or.
I think it's like this, of course we don't make commitments that we cannot keep too much, yeah? Commitment is, but, when we take like Bodhisattva vows, we don't say, or we don't mean to say that from today I become the most generous, the best Bodhisattva, I become like perfect. I'm not saying that, no. What I'm saying is that I would like to train on the path of Bodhisattvas, I want to train in 6 paramitas. I'm not saying that I'm perfect in the 6 paramitas, or I'm perfect in all the things. That's nobody says. That you should not say, but otherwise then it's a problem. First, you can't be, because you are not perfect. Second, you cannot keep that up, because it's it's not useful. And so once you have that, then whatever you try to train, there's nothing negative. You train and you can do that. It's very good. You cannot do that. It's very good. You can do a little bit. It's very good. You can do a little more. It's even better. There's nothing, no negativity. Yeah. Of course, we can also do negative things. We are all samsaric beings. Samsaric beings means we have aversion, we have attachment, we have jealousy, we have, negative feelings. We have anger, hatred, everything. So therefore, if we didn't have, then we will be Buddhas. So we are not Buddhas at the moment. We have a Buddha nature, but not really Buddhas. So therefore, we can't be. So, that's another matter. So, yes, if you do something really bad, When we understand that, then we try to purify that, we try to let go of that, we try to a little bit do less those negative things. There's nothing, nothing bad about that. Yes, in our lives and lives that we lived before, we could have done lots of good things, we could have done lots of bad things, we could have bad karma and things like that, we don't know. So, like that, yeah. So if we have, we go through, everybody goes through different, different paces in life. Sometimes very good things happen to us, sometimes we have problems, sometimes ups and sometimes downs. And that's in the life of everybody. There's nobody who doesn't have ups and downs, who doesn't have some problems, who doesn't have some difficulties. We are samsaric beings, human beings. So that's natural. So when we have that, if everything goes well, we should be grateful, we should be very happy, but we should not become too, complacent and too proud and I'm so great, I'm better than everybody. You should not think like that. You should be humble and you should be, grateful and think. If sometimes we have difficulties and problems and, negative things happen also. And when that happens also, this is also natural, everybody has it. Even the most kind of, most rich people have ups and downs, most powerful people have ups and downs, most famous people have ups and downs, most talented people have ups and downs. That's life. So we should not become too, too hopeless or too, what can you say, too depressed or too much disturbed by that. Yes, we have to try to find a way to get out of that. And sometimes we can get out of it easily, sometimes more difficult, but that's, that depends on situation to situation. I'm sure it can be also an effect of our past lives and things like that. But whatever may be, then you can also say if it is, I also make purifications of my past life, negative karmas and things like that, and then do more positive things, and then, probably I'll be out of it, but, all kind of things happen to us, sometimes we can have, a little bit like different, we all have these problems, and sometimes we also, we have a little problem comparatively, and then because it's happening to us, we can become very, like, I am this, I have become, and this is happening to me, like, how can this happen to me, or, my life has been totally useless, I think it's not good to think like that. It's not, everybody has problems, and, a little bit like that. So we have to be able to go through that. And you can't be the most best one, most successful one. Most successful one is somebody else. Because if I'm most successful one, then I will not be so happy, because it will be only for today, or the most whatever, So therefore, there are people much better than me, there are people much worse than me, it's all like that. So it's okay, I like to be more in the middle, you know. The very, very high, very big, very, I don't think I enjoy it too much. You know, there are people, there are one family I know of, he was so successful that he built a bank, and then, you know, but then, what is it?
Just showing that we have a question from internet, but just, you know, we continue. I'm just waiting for this.
That he had to hire, you know, bodyguards for his children to go to school, and always anxious that something might happen to them, and always, you know, in what's the use? Yeah, is it? You know, it's. I think I'm much more happier when I don't have to have any bodyguards. Yeah. What is that?
Question.
Oh, I see.
So, Paladin, now it's your turn.
Hello.
Hello, Rinpoche. I have a question. In my country,
we can't hear.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Sorry.
Yes, now I can hear.
Okay, good. In my country, many people in vocational work, like teachers, nurses, doctors, are suffering from burnout due to circumstances, low pay and conditions, and even to the extent where they have to go on strike. And I just wonder if you have advice for people in that situation. It's very difficult for them. They don't want to go on strike, of course, because they are vocational people, and their job is to help people. You have advice for these people?
Well, if they want to go on strike, they can go. But, you know, I also went on strike. Once, you know, we were, I was elected as the, you know, president of the Sikkim University Teachers Association in my absence. And then we were not getting the pay, you know, the pay that was actually for the lecturers and, you know, things like that by the Sikkim government, because we were the first ones to be appointed, to have this, before there was no university. And then everybody said we have to go for, you know, we have to ask. So we went, we changed the file and everything, but they don't want to do it. Then we went for a strike. But I don't know if I should tell this story. Because
these people, they don't want to go on strike. You know, they're in a very painful situation.
Yeah, I like that. Anyway, the thing is, you know, even if this is what I found, you know, with all the employees want to have higher pay, yeah, and then sometimes you get higher pay, and you think, oh, that's very good to have now higher pay. Next morning, everything, the price of everything goes up. So your higher pay is totally useless. You know, it didn't help at all because everything, the prices went up. And okay, you got a little bit higher pay, so therefore you didn't suffer that much. But those people who don't have jobs, it's very difficult for them. Because then, they have no race of any kind. So this kind of thing is, I personally feel it's not very useful, even if to get higher pay. Of course, we have to ask for it and things like that. And, it's all about, a little bit, if some people has a little bit higher, then I have to have a higher one. And then, there's lots of human thing, human. Yes, and yes, like that. I mean, this is all, human problems. So, human problem is every human being has these two problems. In Tibetan, it's called ulpong. No, it's called. There's two things. Yeah, one is busy, always busy, 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 busy. And second is never have enough. Yeah, telpong. The main problem of human beings is telpong. We are always busy, 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 busy. We have no time. And even if we are very busy all the time, we still don't have enough. That's almost everybody. All human beings have that problem. Yeah. Of course, then how you get, it's also in your mind a little bit, whether you how much burned out and things like that is, I think, if you look at, it is, it's something. It's if I come from like India or Nepal, and then I look at the working conditions in England or other places in Europe, I felt that they are in heaven. There's, because it's like that comparatively. But that doesn't mean that they are more happy. Everybody has problem, and that is not like how much problem you have has nothing to do with how things are. It's to do with how you feel. So therefore, it's like that. I had to learn it very hard way, because I didn't understand that before. First, I learned it from one professor. When I first came to England, actually, and then I met a professor, and he came to me and said, "I think I'm going to commit suicide." I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, my university was supposed to send me to America for something, for a conference or something, last year, and they didn't send me. And they promised to send this year, and this year also, they are not sending me." I was shocked, your life is not worth, it's just worth a kind of a trip to America, you know. I think like that. You know, are you crazy? I didn't say that, but wanted to say that. I said, then you can't go to America, you don't have money? He says, yeah, I have lots of money. He said, then why don't you buy a ticket and go to America? He said, no, it's just, you know, it's about the, you know, it's of course, it's about maybe somebody else was sent, and then maybe somebody he didn't like or something like, I don't know, but, you know, even then, you know, like, how can you think about even that, you know, like committing suicide? Because, you know, so I was totally shocked, you know. But for him, it was kind of really real thing, you know. He was very hurt because, you know. So it's like that, you know. You can have, you know, something happening, and then you really, you know. Another time there was a young lady coming to me and said, I'm going to commit suicide. I said, why? Because I lost my boyfriend, and then I lost my job, so I'm going to die. Also, I want to say good riddance, but I didn't say that. I said, you know, if you really want to die, you know, nobody can stop you. But what's the hurry? I said, you know, maybe you should first go and make a trip to India. And then, you know, if you don't have money, borrow money. Because after you die, you know, you don't have to. So she didn't go to India, but she went to Japan. I met her after some months. I met her, and I said she was looking very happy, and you know, I said, "How are you?" She said, "Oh, I'm very well." And I said, "Did you go to India?" She said, "No, I didn't go to India, but I went to Japan." And then what happened? He says, "Oh, I nearly died." What happened? She went on an excursion somewhere, you know, and then kind of climbed some mountain or something like that. And she fell in a kind of somewhere. You know, she had an accident and fell in some kind of a thing. And then there was nobody around. And then she was thinking that she's going to die. And at that time, all had this problem of losing her boyfriend and losing her job. She said just evaporated. And then only thing she was thinking that if I can get out of this again, I will be so happy. And then after some time, you know, some people found her and then she was saved. And then she became totally happy and she came back and she got another job. I'm sure she got another boyfriend too. It's like that. Yeah. I sent lots of people to India. They all come back with, you know, oh, I had, you know, this belly and nearly died. You know? It's still, you know, not totally, but very happy, you know. Because they see the life there, and you know how people live there, and you know they kind of see how their own life is comparatively so much better. Because otherwise, you know, you only look up people that's better than you, and then you feel that it's so bad and it's so much, like this, like that. I think it's good to see sometimes, things, look around and, different type of people living. And I think it's useful. Anyway,
we have another question. If we may,
there's a question.
Yeah, there's a question from Sharon on internet.
Okay,
so, Sharon, and now it's your turn.
Hello, Ricochet.
Yes,
Can you see me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, it's great to have you back teaching online.
Okay.
So I have a question. Now, I struggle to even practice the first 3 paramitas. But recently I read a list about the 16 paramitas, and it outlines the 11
paramitas.
Yeah, it's from certain Ati yoga texts or something from, and then while I find it difficult even to be patient, I still found reading the list very inspiring. And I was wondering maybe you might be able to say something about the paramitas 11 through 16. I've never really heard anyone say it.
I don't know. I've heard about 10 paramitas, but I haven't.
Oh yeah, there's even 21, or there's 20. There's 20 as well. I've heard on Rigpa Wiki. They have lists of 16 and 20.
I think 6 is enough for us.
Okay. So you won't say anything about them then, no?
I think 6 is enough.
I'd still like to hear something.
I think 6 is enough. Yeah. I think we don't need to.
I'll ask you again another time. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Sunam de tamje zipa toni nyebe danam panse de shega na che wala ju sipi chole no wa do wa shu